Hey, what's up, Hold 2? This is going to be your positional guide for Mythic MugZee. Specifically, we're going to talk about P1. I'm going to have a separate video for intermission in P2, but I wanted to get this out to you as soon as possible. So let's go over the Mythic changes really quick. The phases and sides actually don't swap until all 20 players are on a specific side. What we're going to do there is most people in the raid aren't going to care about what side they're on. The swaps are going to be handled by our two hunters, Aaron and Ember, which I'll be talking to them on the side to make sure when they know when to swap to control sides. The Z side, which is the metal side, the gray side, I'm going to probably be calling it metal side. I think all the weak auras call it metal side as well. Changes there, the drone ads that spawn, those little flying ads that spawn on the metal side, they actually have a shield that can't, that doesn't allow them to be damaged until you hit them with Mug's lightning frontal, which is on dirt side. So they are up for most of the fight. And that means we have to deal with those little small lightning circles throughout most of the fight until we can kill them. The crawler bombs will one-shot you if you touch them, so it is super important that you do not touch the crawler bombs to pop them. You can soak them, and you should soak them after they're popped, but the crawler bombs will actually be very specifically assigned to people with immunities to pop them. Going to the dirt side, which I think the weak aura calls it dirt, but that's the orange side, dirt. It's Mug side. The goon soaks, the number of jails that actually get targeted on players increase by 1 each time. So it starts with 2, and then you get 3, and then in P2 you'll get 4 goon soaks. The frost boots slip and slide debuff is actually permanent, and to remove that slip and slide portion of that debuff, you have to step into a fire puddle. And again, this isn't going to be an intermission in P2 video, but just to go over a quick change in intermission, there's going to be a lightning line that cuts the room in half that like slowly rotates, and you'll get one shot if you touch it. All right, let's go over the whole phase and positional stuff. So lots of markers on this fight. We'll talk about positioning. This strat that we're going to go with is actually the 4 heal strat. And it is somewhat of a tight DPS check, but as we get more gear, it becomes easier and easier and actually makes the fight significantly easier going into P2 because we'll have more damage to kill it. So we are going to be starting on the metal side, and the very first mechanic that happens is the bomb baits. And in order to make this easy for us, we need to have the entire raid stacked up on the boss. Just a loose stack is fine to bait all of the bombs on the boss. So when those spawn, we're going to slightly move out, and we're going to have a very specific bomb group of people. It's just going to be 2 people. It's going to be Zert and it's going to be Shiggles. And I will assign these and go over these with those 2 individuals later. But essentially, we're popping all 4 of those with a combination of immunities and doing our soaks, right? Everyone should be soaking if there's one available. I am going to assign quadrants around the boss to make sure people are kind of spread out evenly as well. But that will be in the raid resources channel. The next mechanic that happens is the soak. This soak is going to go into the very tip of the room there on the top side. This is going to be the immune soakers, which again will be assigned and put in raid resources. So the immune soaks are going to go up here in this corner. After the immune soaks happen, that little rocketeer spawns, right? We can just passively cleave him down. It's not that big of a deal. After the immune soaks happen, leaves the fire puddle on the ground. And then we get the 2 frontals, right? We get the line frontal that the tank has to soak, and then we get the finger gun thing. Just point those towards the outer wall and not towards the raid, right? Point them towards green and X in this situation. Doesn't matter which goes where. That's how the example I have here. All right, going into the first swap, we're going to swap to dirt side. Again, this is controlled via the hunters. You'll notice the 1 ranged icon. That's going to be basically Ember and Aaron. The reason I have 2 of them is if one of them gets targeted with the frontal and they have to swap early, the other one can then control the swap If none of them get targeted, they both control the swap. It's pretty easy, right? All right, so we have the swap, and we go to dirt side. First thing that happens on dirt side is the first goon soak. We get 2 jails on the first set, and the idea here is we place them on the 2 markers. We also bring the boss in between those 2 markers to get ready for the tank frontal. Goon soaks are going to go to the 2 markers I just described. And then what we want to do here on X side is leave a little space in between the wall and X. And that allows for the current active tank that's going to be taking that frontal to leave the gold trail behind them over on behind X, essentially. One tidbit about the jails that you get stuck in. If you have any way to not break the walls when you kill your ad, you will ideally do that. So like Mage Blink, Demon Hunter double jump or backflip or whatever you do, Warlock ports, those kind of things will allow us to keep the walls up for the goons, which is good for our Frost Shatter Boot people because they have more objects to be able to hit. So goon walls come out, tank's going to do his thing, leave the little coin puddle trail over there in the corner. And at this point, once the goons are dead, and all of these walls may not be up, but a majority of these walls should be up, the raid is going to go position near the fire and get ready for frost boots. If you get targeted with frost boots, you're just going to go dip into the fire to remove your slip and slide debuff, and you're going to go on your opposite sides of the walls. Easy peasy. Boss is going to move over to this current position here, kind of lining himself up with the 2 ads, and we're going to do that for the lightning frontal. That's going to remove the shield from the 2 drone ads. So whoever gets targeted just needs to point it towards those 2 ads there in a line to remove the debuff on both. As soon as the debuff is done, we're going to start killing those. And remember, we have our 2 hunters still on dirt side. Even though the boss and like 18 of the people are going to be over here on metal side, we're still technically in the dirt phase. So at this point, the boss is going to be about 95% energy. So during or slightly after this frontal, our hunters are going to move over as we're killing these ads to get ready for metal side number 2. Again, the hunters will control those swaps. So once the first ad is dead, and he does his little side change animation lock, you'll be able to move the boss to the other ad, and the rest of the raid will follow. We're going to try to kill these ads again as soon as possible, because new ads are going to spawn, because we're back on the metal side. We're going to stack up onto the boss and bait the first set of bombs again. This will be the same 2 people with Zert and Shiggles. It will just be a different combination of immunities that are going to be set out for those. And they're going to handle the bombs. Okay, bombs are handled. We have our next group soak. This is basically everyone else that didn't soak the first set. So this is similar to how we handle Heroic, right? Bombs are dead. And the immune soak person just goes right in the middle. And you notice it needs to be line yourself up right on the middle line here, kind of perpendicular in the center of these 2 lines on the left side. I don't have an extra marker here because we're using all 8 markers. So once you see the pattern on the floor, right? That's essentially where we're putting this last soak, is right in smack dab in the middle of the map. And again, this is going to be all the non-immune soakers that did not soak that first set. And again, the very last thing we see on the second metal side are going to be the 2 frontals. Again, the hunters are sitting over here on metal side. You don't have to be this far out. This is just an example. Even though the entire raid is over on dirt side, we are still technically in the metal phase. We're going to take those 2 frontals out just away from the raid. Again, you can take them, point them towards star and diamond. That's fine. Just don't put them to the raid. And then we get ready for our next swap. Hunters move over and we go to dirt side number 2. For dirt side number 2, it's very similar to how we handled the first one, except positioning is just slightly different. So the boss is going to go in between star and circle, and it's going to be kind of obvious on what's going to happen next. We get our goon soaks. The goon soaks again increase by 1 each time, so we're going to have 3 goon soaks. There's going to be 1 on purple, 1 on star, and 1 on circle. We're going to then get our tank frontal and frost shatter boots after the goons are dead. And to handle those mechanics, our tank is just going to get knocked back and go behind circle to leave his yellow stuff. And if you get targeted with frost shatter boots, you're just going to go near, start near fire. Everyone should be near fire at that point. And then dip your toe in, remove the debuff, and get around. You can also use purple here. You can use any wall at this point. I just have an example of everyone using star and circle. That's totally fine. But if you want to go over to diamond as well, you can. The only thing is you cannot reuse, like 2 people can't hit the same wall segment. As soon as one wall segment is gone, it will not work for a second person. So you just got to make sure you have your own wall segment. And that's P1. That's it. 2 metal sides, 2 dirt sides. Sorry, very last thing, we'll get a frontal here. We don't want to push the boss early. We want to make sure we get this frontal, and we want to point it towards these 2 ads. Once the frontal goes off, it follows the player. So what you want to do is just have your player wiggle that frontal back and just make sure it overlaps the 2 ads while it's channeling on you. And that's it. I don't know how to animate that in PowerPoint, so this is what you get. But that is all of B1. At this point, it is a DPS check. We have to hit 40% on the boss before he reaches 100 energy on that second dirt side, and we'll be ready for intermission. All right, gamers. See you there.